All right, good morning. Welcome to the London session. I hope you're doing well. Um, Sorry, I was disciplining my little boy because he's causing some problems in the house. He just, in his room, we've got some wallpapers and he's just, tearing everything off from the wall. All right, so let's go back and look at the dollar index. So dollar index is currently trading inside the level that we anticipated, and we kind of saw some reaction, and now I've changed a little bit my layout because I am missing out some moves, and the reason why I'm missing out those moves is simply because I don't have the big picture always. The levels that I'm looking at, I don't have them, so I decided to go into a format where I can see all the time frames that I want to see. So here you have the daily, you have the H4, you have the day H1, and then you have the obviously the 515 is going to be down here. I'm currently looking at this here, right? We have traded inside that imbalance that I gave on Monday, I think, yesterday. So what I'm looking for now is a break in market structure on the lower time frame. I think if we go back to this one, there was a 1 hour level that I had marked out that I was going to see if they're gonna react off from it, because if they're gonna go down, they need to break that this low. Okay, so on the 1 hour, we're still bullish, right? We just need market structure to break, and that's going to happen somewhere in here. So until that happens, this thing can still continue going up, based on the analysis that I gave. So it's not actually ready to sell yet off, so wait for the break in market structure, at least on the 1 hour time frame, before you consider going in on the on the foreign currencies looking for the longs. All right. So if we go back here, that means on euro, you're gonna wait for a break in market structure, at least on the 1 hour first, before you kind of look for an entry. Okay. And on the 4 hour, I was actually looking for this to be an auto block by the time we hit 10 o'clock, but that didn't happen, so it's a shame, but we still be watching. What I think might end up happening is they might take out previous day's low before going up, so watch previous day's low. And I hope you guys can hear me. Let me adjust my mic. All right, let's go back to the futures and let's go to euro. Right, on the futures, I think, let me transpose this level onto the 15 minutes chart. I'm kind of organizing my screen so that everything will be easy to see. So give me 1 second. I only need the execution on one time frame. want to transpose this here. Right there. Okay, so below previous day's low right here is that level that I anticipated, right? So maybe they might sweep that low, which is previous day's low, into this imbalance on the lower time frame, and then that's when they probably might go up. So watch that and let's see how they're going to behave. Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to be buying. We need price to hit it and then break market structure. Okay, until we break market structure, at least on the 1 hour time frame, this thing can still continue going up. So if you look at the trend on the dollar index, okay, on the 1 hour time frame here, we need price to at least break the last swing low on before we can start looking for it to go lower. So that translates to you looking for at least a breaking structure on the 1 hour time frame, right? We don't have that yet. So once we get that breaking structure on the 1 hour time frame, then we can start looking for a potential buy. Okay, let's go back to, I think I have a position waiting on NASDAQ that I want to bring your attention to. NASDAQ is looking to go and attack this high, and they did place an order block on the 1 hour time frame in here, and within that 1 hour time frame I looked at the imbalance, and this is where it brought me to. So I'm looking to buy there and partial profit up here, and then the rest you're gonna leave it to go for this one. Alright, so that's something that I'm currently watching for the quote unquote indices. There's one on, I think, yeah, here I did not mark it up, but that's another potential setup in here where we have this order block being there, and then inside that you will see we have this imbalance down here, which is, if I put my it's within that 1 hour order block. Okay, so you can watch that as well. You've got to give me another second because I think the boy is doing something. It's just me and him in a 3-bedroom house, so he can be doing something naughty. All right, I think he's behaving himself. Okay, so that's the two indices. I think US 30 also did have something like that in here, so you can watch this one as well. The imbalance being somewhere down here. There's a little one there, but that's just outside the order block, so I don't like that. I like this one in here. So again, another level to watch. Okay, let's go back to this. It looks like it's definitely gonna run. It's gonna run the previous day's low. All right, so let's see how they behave. GBP USD. This pair, I think the last time I said it's so weird, I want to get rid of it, right? It has its moment that it goes into this kind of weird pattern price movement, and it becomes so hard to trade, like here. Let me go and check Nasdaq. Okay, Nasdaq is approaching that level. Alright, so watch Nasdaq is approaching that level. Okay, watch that. Let me place a buy limit there and then see what happens. It's not the best because I like the H4, but the H4 hasn't confirmed a swing low yet. It's potentially going to if we close the next 9 minutes. So if it does, then that level is going to be, you can see it's within that auto block, so that's going to be valid. So let's see, 192. Yeah, I like this one because of that equal high. 300. Buy limit. Okay. So I raised 0.50 for this whole level, and my target is this equal high. My target is this equal high on the daily time frame, but I'm gonna take partial up here. Yeah, so let's go back to the 5-minute chart and you see that level. It can't go up from here because that's where the breaker is. That's the breaker in here, so it can't go up from there, but I like within it, the auto block, right, or the gap. So let's see. Let's go back to the British pound. I have no idea what this pair is trying to do, to be honest. So I'll wait till I see something that I like. Anything that I was looking at for yesterday, they didn't give me. Yesterday I was looking for, I think, a run from here to go and attack previous day's low into that, and they just continue to consolidate. But if you look at price action, right, this high to this low, back to this high, that's a pullback. That price should have seen it come and attack this low, right? But for some reason, we don't see price doing that, and it came all the way back up here, which to me doesn't make sense. That's why I'm saying it's a bit okay. Let me zoom out in here. So the entry is at 1516.80. I'm gonna post it in the indices channel. So you can see it. One is a gap on that time frame 5 minute chart, 1.160.7. That's where I'm anticipating it. Obviously this will be my first trade for today, so if I take 2-3 losses, that's it for me. I'm gradually gonna give you my rules so that if you want to apply them, you can. So the idea is you're gonna take 3 trades in a day, and first one profitable, second one profitable, third one profitable, you're done. First one profitable, second one not profitable, third one profitable, you're done. Whatever happens, you're just taking 3 trades in a day, scalps or day trades. That's it. Okay, so if you get first one,
What color is it, Daddy?
it's green.
Not green, it's red.
Which one?
Red.
That's not red, bro. That's green.
That's a green bee.
Yes.
Not green bee, it's red. It's
Anyway.
red.
Okay, it's red.
There's red.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So yeah, that's that for pound. I'll wait for, more confirmation before I do anything. New Zealand, I think yesterday I actually gave you a level to watch to see if they're going to retrace, because I saw a swing low confirmed, right? And inside that swing low, this was the gap that I saw.
What comes after red? Yeah, that's football.
Okay.
What comes after purple?
Dude, go and play.
Yeah, that's
I apologize for this, that
orange. What comes after
he's on holidays
orange?
and he's gonna do this every day.
That's right. It's a yellow.
Anyway, I think
What comes after
I was looking for maybe some form of a rejection up in here,
after
but
yellow?
they went through it, so now
Yeah, that's is green.
it should trade up into that imbalance up there, right? So on New Zealand dollar, any pullback on a 1 hour time frame is a buy. Now what can happen is, because we are expecting some rejection on the dollar index,
Green. Daddy?
I don't know, bro.
And the blue.
Let's see. Okay, if I get triggered, I think you'll give me a watch closely the H4, right? We want the H4 to stay like that. We don't want it to close below that. So we've got like, let's watch this for now. We've got like 1 minute 26 seconds. If it does not close bullish like this, this might not be valid, because then the H4 doesn't give us support to take price a little bit higher. Let me see if we are at optimal trade entry.
What comes after
Yeah,
blue?
we are at optimal trade entry, so
And pink. What comes after pink? Yeah, this is brown. What comes after brown?
Black.
Yeah, this is black. What comes after black?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, that is white.
Okay, we've got 16 seconds left. Right, so I think that actually confirms that auto block. So we should see reaction off from here to go back up, but I'm gonna continue. So looking at the 5 minutes chart, I think we might have something in here. We might have something in here. The only downside to it is we've just gone above a daily high, right? Which is this one here. So ideally, sometimes they can come back down, but since we are expecting some form of a rejection on the dollar index, right? We don't want to see it come back down. So we have, you can see in here on the 5 minutes chart, we have a, if I go on the 15 minutes, an auto block in here, right? So on the 5 minutes, if we do retrace, I think this time you can use optimal trade entry. Let me check the 1 minute. Okay, you can watch this gap here. If they do retrace for a scalp for today, long, maybe New York session. So go back to the 5 minutes chart. Yeah, you can look at that one for a scalp long for New York session. That's provided the dollar index reject. Okay. So now the reason why I don't post this is because, you know, if you're not here to understand what is meant to be, what the criteria are before taking the trade, you might just take the trade because I posted that trade, right? That's why I don't post the trade ideas that we do see, because they don't come in as raw, it's an entry you take it, right? We might see, you should see some form of a confirmation on the part of the dollar index, and if that part is not there, it's gonna come here and you're just gonna think it's a buy, and then obviously you will probably take a loss and you think, okay, that's not a good trade from IT, right? But it is what it is. So this is just a scalp for a continuation to the upside. You might want to take your profit 221 and then look for continuation to where I'm pointing you to on the daily up in here. I use the futures because the futures is more accurate than the spot, because this one is very controlled. Controlled in the sense that it's real volume, so everything is measurable. So there's no space for spreads being wide and stuff like that. That's why I'm using the futures. Alright, so that's where we're gonna be trading to. That will translate to somewhere in here. Alright, so if you get this scalp in, hold on to some. If it moves in your favor, get 221 and then hold on to the rest. Okay. Let's take a screenshot and I'll posting in the channel, provided that okay, let's go to Aussie. Yesterday, when price went for this high here, before the rate announcement, I was looking for manipulation and then expansion, right? You like the typical interest rate announcement, but this time they just decided to send it into the imbalance that I think I gave it on Monday. Right, they decided to send it up here. So I think price is gonna trade in there. It's just that we don't have any entry long, but what we do have is the Aussie Swiss trade that I gave a couple of, I think last week, that is moving towards our second TP. So if you don't have an entry on the Aussie dollar, just let this one continue to go up, and it looks to me that they're gonna go for this equal high. That was the final target. So going into tomorrow, right, you can look for a buy using the daily time frame as the like we did buy in here, right? The daily is closing bullish, so you buy every single day. This happened to have retraced, but it's continuing going up, so look for a buy tomorrow using the daily open at either midnight 00 GMT or 5 a.m. or 7:30. Any one of them is a good time to be buying. This being an Asian pair, because it's Aussie, right, you can buy at 00 GMT, okay, and then expect price to expand to the upside. We have a gap in here on the lower time frame, on the 4 hour in here. That would be a level that you can take partial if you get long tomorrow, and then allow the rest to continue for this high. All right, so on Aussie, I don't have anything in terms of trade ideas today, because they've already taken price up, so we're gonna skip that and move on to the next one. Euro pound, we are at a level where this is going to happen. When I say is going to happen, it means that they are going to accumulate longs in here, which is basically optimal trade entry on the daily. So they are going to accumulate longs in here, so just be aware and just be a little bit careful, because this trade, in my opinion, is still valid. The only thing it did is dipping into, let me zoom in the H4. We are still in here, right, which is, this is the auto block, that area that is relevant. All right, so as we are here, it will do things like this until the 1 hour actually breaks market structure. So the 1 hour needs to break market structure right here. All right, we need to close above it. or at least we need the H4 to confirm a swing low. Until until we get that to happen, right? They're still gonna manipulate price. So just be careful and trade wisely in here, because if you don't take care, they will keep going up, down, up, down, up, down, because they are trying to accumulate longs in here, right? So the last portion of the gap is rather here, which you need to be aware, okay, on the H4 within the daily time frame. That's the last portion of the gap. So they can send it one more time down there and still be valid to go up, okay? So if you want, you can wait patiently for either the H1 to break structure and then you look for the long, or wait for a swing low on the H4 to form and a swing low. You should know that by now. I'm not gonna go into details. If you wait for a swing low to form, then you can go in and then start looking for your longs. All right, so right now I do see this low, that high, that low, a run. So I was just looking for this short-term scalp, right? It's a risky trade because the higher time frame is still bearish, right? So that's why it went for that low. It doesn't mean it was wrong, it's just that the high time frame is still bearish, so this is still bound to happen, okay? Once we get the swing low confirmation on the H4 or a breaking market structure on the H1, we should see this kind of trades. If it forms this kind of pattern, it will be very easy for it to hit it and go up. I don't want to miss this trade. Let me see on the 1 minute chart. Okay, it's not broken market structure, so you can come back down again. If it doesn't give us an entry and it goes all the way up, it's not valid to buy there anymore. Even though when it comes you can attempt it, but I will be very careful, because we would have made a new high, right? So if it's gonna come back, you might get stopped out. Let me check the Nasdaq. They both, all of it hasn't reached that level yet. So that's the case on this euro pound, okay? Gold. I think gold is actually trading at an interesting level. I haven't done my organization yet properly, so we have this one being an order block. It should have my OB indicator here. Okay, we have H1 order block. Inside that is going to have a gap on the 5 minutes chart. You can see it in here. Price straight to that. By default, it should come down and attack this low. It should come back down and attack this low. I think we have relative equal low. So on gold, we should see it decline and come into our buying level. If you want to, let me see where we currently at. Not bad. It's still roughly at the 618. So I wouldn't, it's not bad, to be honest. Your stop loss is gonna go above this high, right? And if we break it, then obviously that will give us something else on the H4, and then we will look into it. So let me see if I can take you on a demo over here. There we go, with a stop loss above that high, targeting that equal low.
Ow! No!
Should we be, come on, go play. If pound is likely to rally for the rest of April, and looking at the euros, the seasonal for it, should we be looking for sells? I like the thought process, but not with this kind of price action in here. Okay, not with this kind of price action, where we have this low, that high, that low, break. Look at it. Is it bearish or bullish? If we are below, if we are below a breaker, then yes. Okay, what I mean by is, let's say we were here, right? Let's say price was here. This is how I'm thinking. All right, it doesn't make me right. You can do what you're saying, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, but this is my opinion. This is how I'm interpreting price. If we were here, then that would be different, because then I know we are below this auto block, this breaker here. So this is a pullback, and this is a new low. So this going up is gonna go up, and then it's gonna come back and make a new low. So yes, in that case, I'll look for sell somewhere up in here, and then look for continuation to the downside. But this is the case where we have this is the scenario where we have this low, that low, we made a new high, we went down, we made a new high, and we are back down here again. So the idea of looking for a sell is not bad, because of the seasonal tendency confirming bullish price action on British pound, and bearish price action on not bearish, but not so much bullish on euros. So I like the idea of looking for a sell, but the market structure on this currently does not support that. If I want to look for a sell, right, where will I be targeting? This low. But is it likely to go to that low? Right, that will be the question you need to ask. Or even if you're selling, how far, where are you going to sell, and how far are you going to sell to? Right, you need to ask all those questions, so that when you are in the trade, you don't second guess yourself as to, okay, where is price going? Because you need to first of all determine what price is supposed to be doing before you enter the trade, so that you don't have any confusion once you're in the trade. So if you're going to sell, where are you going to sell, and where are you going to expect price to go? Right, and in this case, if you're buying, where are you going to buy, and where are you going to expect price to go? Okay, so you need to be able to answer that question before you kind of look for a trade idea. All right, so if you just look at the daily right now, even if you look at the weekly, okay, that's the weekly support, higher prices or lower prices in your understanding in price right now. Okay, we can see we have what here, a swing low, and this is an auto block, and prices, yes, it can do something like this where it came into an auto block in here, it reacted, and then it went through it. Okay, it can do something like that, and I'm not saying it can, but I just want you to think properly so that when you are in that trade, you don't second guess yourself, because the worst thing to do is actually be in a trade and then be second guessing yourself. All right. It looks like gold is rejecting. That's nice. Go and check the Nasdaq again. If I get this one, that'll be two out of 2 for this morning. That's 1, and then 2. Let's look at oil. Okay, so oil is currently coming into this area. I still need to organize this, but I'll do that after the session. It's coming into this auto block in here, right? And within that auto block there is a gap on the H4 or a void, which goes all the way up to there. So we could see oil trade all the way up to that level before any potential sell ideas. All right, now you can look for buys to go up there if you want to. Okay, we have a breaker in here, somewhere down here on the 5-minute chart, on auto block. This will move, so we could see it go up from here. I just don't like this auto block here, right? But because the 1 hour is bullish, and on the daily or the H1 we have a void in here, they might go and close in that void, so you can attempt a buy. In my opinion, it's not high probability, so I wouldn't even recommend it. Okay, it's not high probability level, but I think it's gonna reach for that, or it's gonna close in the void. Okay, but the level to buy at is not clean enough. If you want, you can, but I'll pass on that. So if you want to check the 1-minute chart, yeah, right here, that would be the ideal level to watch for the buy down there. I'm just gonna paper trade it, so I'm gonna put a line here for the stop and look for right there, maybe just before that, with partial above that high. Actually this one. All right, so that's that. Something got cancelled. got Nasdaq to activate. Okay, let's see how this one plays out. Let's go back to gold. So that's oil. Dollar CAD, I seriously want to take this pair out because I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. I don't like analyzing it, to be honest. If you trade this pair, I don't know why you trade it. So I will, because someone did request it, that's why I keep doing it, right? It's not something that I will take my time out and do it. Someone did request it, that's why I do it. But I'm getting to the point of not liking to do it because it does not respect. Look at this. Okay, it's a mess. Okay, so I'm probably just gonna get rid of it. So let's leave that out. Bitcoin, I think I have a level on Ethereum somewhere in here. Yeah, somewhere in here. They took out this low here and then we broke market structure and we've not returned yet, so there's a gap, yeah, down here. So I have a buy limit there. Let me go to the 15 minutes chart. You will see here, that's why I have a buy limit, so it's within this level or that down candle, and my target is still here and there. So we are not far off. That's where I'm anticipating them to go. All right. Let me check the Nasdaq again. Now, one thing that you need to realize is these gaps that price retraces to, they are so sensitive that when price gets there, they should not spend, or it shouldn't even spend a minute or two. They should hit it and then straight away go away. So when it gets there and it start wasting too much time, you will see, because I have recorded quite some number of trades using that same idea, and I think they've made 2 of them available in the back end. So watch it and see how price gets to these gaps, and then straight away, as soon as they get there, it rejects and then it goes. So when it gets to the gap, it needs to reject and go away. If it start playing out, then chances are it's not good. Okay. So back to this, we are looking for an entry in here. Bitcoin, I don't like it, so I don't have any level on that. It's just the consolidation is too much, so I don't have anything on Bitcoin. Apart from that, let's go to the crosses and give you some ideas. So this is something that you do at the end of the day, right? When the day ends, I have it on the other screen. Give me 1 second. Let's go back to this. Sorry, I was answering a question. So when the day ends, right, I'm gonna give you how I sold this. Okay, you already know it. It's not something new. The day ended. Actually, yeah, the day ended like this. Once the day ended, right, look at this. What is it? It's a close up. Okay, go to the British pound. Look how close that came to my entry. They didn't give me an entry. This is what I was saying. Okay, that the gaps that I'm giving you, this is how they should be. They should be that sensitive. As soon as they hit it, it should move away like this. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. And I'm peed off that they did not give me that entry. Anyway, it's okay. What I was showing you was on the daily. There. So this is how the euro closed, right? And then you saw how the Aussie closed, right? The Aussie closed bullish and this one closed bearish. So relative strength speaking, right? Relative strength speaking, Euro Aussie is supposed to go lower. Okay, Euro Aussie is supposed to go lower. So if that's the case, I came onto this, and then on the daily time frame, this was what price was. This is how we closed yesterday. So with that understanding, I did go in and see, okay, where is price trying to reach for? We had this low here. Below that low, we had an imbalance. So I'm anticipating today to be a down candle. Now remember what happened. We had the rate announcement on Aussie, right? So if you have rate announcement on Aussie, what is likely to happen? This one is likely to go lower. So all I did at exactly, I think it was can't remember the time I took the trade. It was definitely after 10. Yeah, I think it was in here between 10 and 12. That's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna sell it, put my stop loss above previous day's high, and then expect a continuation to the downside. Okay, so I sold it, put my stop loss above previous day's high, and then expected expansion to the downside based on the fact that this one closed bearish and that one closed bullish, and you can see so far it did that. right? So that was the reason for me going short on this. I could have likely gone short on the pound Aussie as well because it's the same thing, but I just chose the Euro Aussie, because if you look at the Euro and you look at the Aussie, if I put the pound, if you look at the pound, okay, this is how the pound closed. So that's why I did not use the pound and I used the Aussie. And you can do this every single day, right? At the close of the day, have all the futures and then see, let me see if I can show it to you, because I have it on the other screen. Let me save this for I don't want to mess up my setup, so what I'll do is I'll create a new one. Actually, I can save it on here. No. You know what, I might as well let's do it here. So what you want to do is futures currencies, divide that into 4, and then use whatever theme that you like, and then put it on the daily time frame, all of them. So this one would be the Euro, this one would be the British pound, okay, this one is going to be the New Zealand, and this one is going to be the Aussie. And you just put all of that on a daily time frame. Okay, so at the close of every single day, just look at them and see which one closed what, and it will give you a rough idea what the other one's supposed to do. Okay, it's supposed to give you a rough idea of what the currency, the crosses is supposed to do. So if you want to trade like in here, any of them, then you can look at this, and by the close of the day, like if I can't, you can see, okay, just blank off today's trading and then look at it again. You see that this one closed bullish, that one closed bullish, that one closed bearish, that one closed sideways. So you could have paired the New Zealand with the Euro and paired the Aussie with the Euro, and then sold Euro Aussie and Euro New Zealand, and you see how they both went down, and that also went down. All right. Any question? Because I've gone beyond my time. I'm looking at the NASDAQ on the other screen. and it looks like it's going to the stop loss, which doesn't make sense. If it goes to the stop loss, let me see, the S&P 500 went through it. S&P 500 did not close. You see the US 30. US 30 is also holding. So one of them should take out the low, one should hold. We will see. Any question? Let me save this. Any question?
Daddy. What is A?
Okay, so it looks like the Nasdaq took the stop loss, and I'm gonna watch it and see how it behave after, because if that's the case, it's gonna create an inverse order block that might take it into we made a new high in here.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1,
So
go.
if they're gonna close below this low, that's gonna create this as a bearish order block, and that's gonna leave this imbalance in here for a sell if it retraces back into it. Okay, once you start, if you do this kind of layout, you will see the
First word
importance.
is E.
You will see the importance
The
of
fourth word
Dude.
is G,
you will see the importance of
L,
how the order blocks are being created and how these gaps are important. So if you look at the layout, right, this is the H1. We made a new high here, we retraced, and we made a new high. So market structure is what? Bullish. We retrace again. Okay, so we're supposed to hold and go higher, and price is now attempting to go below this low. Now they can do what they've just done, which is take out this low without closing below it, and that will be what? That will be a run on stops. Okay, I'm trying to open your mind to price. This would be a run on stop. If this becomes a run on stops, then what is it going to do? It's going to create this as an auto block, right? So as it's going back up again, it's going to leave some sort of an imbalance, and then it's going to come back, and then you buy it, continue going up. So you kind of looking at price with you're looking at price with the mindset of having, if you have, it's like you have the DOM, or you have the real orders coming in the market, because you can see what it's trying to do based on each time frame. So if this one breaks down, it means that the institutions are looking to do what they're looking to sell, and it's creating an auto block, right? So then it's going to leave some form of a gap for it to come back in, fill it, and then go down. If not, then this is just going to be a run. It's going to go back up, it's going to leave a gap, and it's going to come back and fill it and go higher. All right, so if you do have the opportunity to lay out your charts like this, do it, and then study how these markets are moving very, very nicely. Okay, so you can see now it's creating this one as a bearish order block, as I was saying. So if that's the case, then inside that bearish order block, what would be the level they might want to come for? There's going to be a gap within that order block, and you can see we have this one here, right? And if the current candle closes as it is, it's going to leave one here at the breaker, right? So you can sell this one or that one with a stop above this high. All right, so that's my gift to you guys. All right, I'm going to go and get something to eat. Before I do, let me lastly go and check the dollar index to make sure it's rejecting, so that we can continue looking for the buy on. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this low here. I don't like the fact that they're leaving that previous day low. I don't like that, but we will see.
Wow.
Watch. Watch this imbalance in here. I think this is still bullish, and they might be forming the low of the day. Like they might be forming the wick like this one here, and then expand to the upside. Remember, this is the Nasdaq, right? They do trade mostly during the New York session. Okay, so this is the this is the AM trend, and that could change. The narrative on the high time frame hasn't changed at all. They're still bullish. H4 is still bullish. Okay, this would be just H1 retracement, which might come in here and then expand to the upside. So watch this gap. All right, and I'll see you guys in the afternoon session. Afternoon session, we will look at this gap in here and see what they will do within that.